For 3 years in the 1980s, a red-suited cartoon gremlin tried to ruin your pizza, and then almost overnight, he vanished. The internet says it's true. Welcome to The Internet Says It's True. Every week here, we learn something that sounds like I just pulled it out of my butt, but it's really true. It's part of the WCBE podcast experience. Hey, I'm Michael Kent. Welcome back. Episode 274. And we're back with another brand new story this week, a fun one that may make you hungry. And if you're a Gen Xer like me, it may invoke some nostalgia. As always, I would like to take a moment to invite you to become a Tizitor. Be part of the club. Be a Tizitor. You can join at any level, from $1 on up. And when you do, you get access to early ad-free episodes, along with the video of our guest interviews, which I got to tell you is really cool because they're often longer than what you hear on this podcast. You can do that at patreon.com/Michael Kent or use the link in the show notes. I'd also like to remind you about my book. I collected more than 50 of the stories from this podcast, made them into a bathroom reader style book. It's a fantastic gift, something to keep on the coffee table and pick up and read. Every story is only like 3 or 4 pages long, and you can get that wherever you buy books. Just search for The Internet Says It's True. Today we're talking about pizza. We're talking about advertising. We're talking about 1980s branding excess and one of the strangest disappearances in corporate mascot history. This is the story of the Domino's Noid.
Have you ever been frustrated because the Noid ruined your pizza? The Noid loves to ruin pizza.
Back in the 1980s, advertising didn't whisper. It wasn't subtle. It shouted, it sang, it wore neon. It arrived with a jingle and left you humming their song in the cereal aisle. Fast food chains especially were in a kind of mascot arms race. McDonald's had Ronald, Grimace, and the Hamburglar, Mayor McCheese, an entire edible government. Burger King obviously had the King, who even in his earlier, more restrained form was still a crowned adult hanging around children's birthday parties. Taco Bell would soon unleash a Chihuahua, and the California Raisins were crooning Motown. The line between marketing and Saturday morning animation had blurred almost completely. Domino's Pizza, meanwhile, had built its brand not on whimsy but on speed. Founded in 1960 by brothers Tom and James Monahan in Ypsilanti, Michigan, Domino's spent its early decades focused on delivery efficiency. In 1973, the company introduced what would become one of the most famous guarantees in American advertising: delivery in 30 minutes or less, or it's free. The promise was bold, it was measurable, slightly dangerous, but it worked. By the mid-1980s, Domino's had become one of the fastest growing pizza chains in the country. But speed is functional, it's not necessarily memorable. By 1986, Domino's and its advertising agency, Group 243, wanted something sticky, something character-driven, something that embodied the obstacles that could threaten a pizza delivery and, by contrast, highlight Domino's reliability. The result was a small red creature with rabbit-like ears, a mischievous grin, and a jittery, hyperactive personality. He was called the Noid.
The Noid hates hot quality pizza. He loves to make your hot pizza ice cold. Call Domino's Pizza and avoid the Noid.
The concept was simple and surprisingly clever. The Noid represented everything that could go wrong with your pizza. Traffic jams, clumsiness, delays, smashed boxes. In commercials, he would attempt elaborate sabotage. He tried to flatten pizzas and derail deliveries. He would generally cause chaos. Domino's, of course, would triumph every time. And the slogan was short, punchy, and omnipresent. You may remember it. Avoid the Noid. The commercials leaned into claymation-style animation and exaggerated physical comedy. The Noid was frantic but not frightening. He was annoying but not sinister. And he had a kind of Gremlin meets Red Riding Hood aesthetic that made him visually distinctive without being grotesque. For kids, he was entertaining. For adults, he was at least memorable. And memorable he was. By 1987 and 1988, the Noid was everywhere. He appeared not only in television commercials, but on in-store promotions, posters, and merchandise. Domino's ran contests inviting customers to avoid the Noid. The character even crossed into gaming. In 1990, Domino's released a Nintendo Entertainment System game titled Yo! Noid. The game itself was a modified version called Kamen no Ninja Hanamaru, but to American players, it was entirely about the Noid navigating obstacles to deliver pizza. For a few years, the Noid was woven into the cultural fabric of fast food America. He joined the pantheon of strange corporate beings who felt oddly real despite being entirely fictional. If you grew up in that era, you likely remember him with a mix of nostalgia and mild confusion. From a marketing standpoint, the campaign worked. Domino's sales continued to climb. The brand became not just the fast pizza place, but the fast pizza place that beat the Noid. But advertising trends are fickle. Mascots burn bright and burn out. By the late 1980s, tastes were shifting. Minimalism would eventually replace maximalism. Irony would replace earnest slapstick. Domino's itself began evolving its message beyond simply speed. Internally, according to later reporting in publications like the New York Times, there were discussions about refreshing the brand image and avoiding overexposure of the character. And then, in the early 1990s, the Noid began to disappear. Commercial frequency decreased, national campaigns pivoted. By around 1990, the Noid was largely absent from Domino's advertising. The character, January 30th, 1989, Chamblee, Georgia. A 22-year-old man named Kenneth Lamar Noid walked into a Domino's pizza store carrying a .357 Magnum. According to contemporaneous reporting from the Associated Press and the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, he fired a shot into the ceiling shortly after entering and took 2 employees hostage. His last name was Noid. Kenneth Noid believed that the Domino's advertising campaign was personally mocking him. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about January 30th, 1989, in a Domino's pizza store in Chamblee, Georgia. And spoiler, it has to do with a real-world hostage crisis. We'll be right back. Hey, do you love food? Do you love true crime? I love both of these things. If only there was a podcast that perfectly combined these two topics into a weekly show. Wait no more. True Crime Culinary is a bite-sized podcast that blends true crime and food history. Each episode connects a real crime to an unexpected culinary detail. I was just listening to this podcast, and there was an episode that combined the murder of civil rights icon Harvey Milk with the consumption of Twinkies. I'm learning all kinds of stuff on this podcast. Did you know popcorn helped save movie theaters during the Great Depression? That's episode 18. Or the infamous trick-or-treat murder was rooted in a ritual that goes back hundreds of years. Episode 4. When I say bite-sized, it's a clever pun, but the episodes really are bite-sized, 10 to 15 minutes each, which means you can binge a whole bunch of them all at once. New episodes drop every Thursday. Just search for True Crime Culinary wherever you listen to podcasts. It's spooky and delicious.
I'm John DeSando, host of Back Talk. This podcast is an extension of the long-running, award-winning movie review show, It's Movie Time. Back Talk features additional content and banter with guests about new movies. If you want more insight and information about what's playing now in theaters and online, find Back Talk at the WCBE Podcast Experience on WCBE.org. You'll be happy you did.
What if your kid could open a box and step into another century? With History Unboxed, they can. Each month, a new time-traveling adventure arrives at your doorstep, packed with hands-on projects, stories, recipes, and learning has never been more fun. No screens, no boring textbooks, just immersive, age-appropriate fun that makes history stick. Whether they're mummifying an apple like an Egyptian, or crafting medieval armor, or exploring the music of the Harlem Renaissance, they're not just learning about history, they're living it. Used by families, homeschoolers, and educators across the country, History Unboxed makes the past come alive with every box. I think it's amazing that I'm personally in my 40s and I'm still learning history every week. I wasn't interested in history as a kid, and I think that's because I didn't have something that made it fun. Things have changed since then. History Unboxed makes learning history engaging, fun, and hands-on in the comfort of your own home. So if your child loves to ask why and what was it like, this is the perfect way to fuel that curiosity. Ready to time travel? Sign up today by clicking the deals link in the show notes. If you love listening to this podcast every week and you want to show your support, that would mean a great deal to me. You can do that by becoming a Patreon member. We've got members at all levels, whether you want to pledge $1 a month or $10 a month. Just think about the value that you receive from this show. And if you like the histories and the stories that you learn about or the jokes that you hear, and if you think that they're worth it, consider signing up. For that, you get every episode ad-free and a week early, access to bonuses like the unedited videos of the guest appearances, and 20% off all merchandise. You can sign up today at patreon.com/Michael Kent. That's patreon.com/Michael Kent. On January 30th, 1989, in Chamblee, Georgia, a 22-year-old man named Kenneth Lamar Noid walked into a Domino's pizza store carrying a .357 Magnum. According to contemporaneous reporting from the Associated Press and the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, he fired a shot into the ceiling shortly after entering and took 2 employees hostage. His last name was Noid. Kenneth Noid believed that the Domino's advertising campaign was personally mocking him. Court records and reporting at the time indicated that he suffered from mental illness and experienced delusions. In his mind, the repeated phrase, "avoid the Noid," was not a general marketing slogan, it was directed at him. During the 5-hour standoff, Noid made several demands. He asked for $100,000 in cash. He requested a white limousine. And in one of the more surreal details reported by the AP, he demanded a copy of the novel The Widow's Son by Robert Anton Wilson. Negotiators worked with him throughout the afternoon, and at one point he ordered pizza for himself and the 2 hostages. The scene inside the store was tense, but not chaotic. Ultimately, while he was eating, the hostages managed to overpower him. No one was injured. Kenneth Noid was arrested and charged with kidnapping, aggravated assault, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. In September '89, a jury found him not guilty by reason of insanity. He was committed to a state mental hospital. The incident received national media coverage. The connection between his last name and the advertising slogan was impossible to ignore. Headlines referenced the irony. Commentators noticed the strange overlap between fiction and reality. Domino's initially maintained that the campaign was not connected to the incident in any causal way. And strictly speaking, it wasn't. The character had been created years earlier based on a play on the word annoyed. There was no intent to target any individual, but the optics were difficult. A man named Noid had taken hostages because he believed he was being ridiculed by a national advertising campaign. In later years, Domino's executives would say that the Noid was phased out due to overexposure and shifting marketing priorities. However, multiple reports, including coverage in the New York Times in 1995, acknowledged that the hostage incident had cast a shadow over the character. Whether the Chamblee incident directly caused the retirement of the Noid or simply accelerated an existing shift is difficult to measure. What's clear is that the character never regained his former prominence. The story also didn't end neatly for Kenneth Noid. After his commitment, he was eventually released. According to the Associated Press reporting from 1995, he died by suicide that year in Florida. It was a tragic conclusion to a story that, in media retellings, often leans toward the absurd. There's something unsettling about the collision of marketing and mental illness. The Noid was fictional, but the feelings Kenneth Noid experienced were real to him. The phrase "avoid the Noid" was a harmless pun to millions, but to one person, it was persecution. In psychiatric literature, this phenomenon is often referred to as referential delusion, the belief that neutral events or messages are directed specifically at oneself. The 1989 incident became quietly a case study in how mass media can intersect with vulnerable individuals in unpredictable ways. For decades, the Noid remained largely dormant. Then, in 2011, Domino's briefly revived the character for a limited online promotion, leaning into nostalgia rather than chaos. The return was cautious and self-aware. The world of advertising had changed, so had the world of public scrutiny. Today, the Noid exists mostly as an artifact of a particular era, a relic of neon commercials and bold guarantees. The Chamblee incident remains one of the strangest chapters in corporate marketing history. It's not an urban legend, it's not exaggerated, it's documented in court records and contemporary news reporting. The cartoon mascot, the hostage crisis, a coincidence of names that spiraled into national headlines. The internet says it's true. It's time for Yap Yap, the part of the podcast where I call a friend, and today I am calling Natasha Samreny. Natasha Samreny is a third culture kid, TCK. She's a comedian currently based in Florida and identifies with anyone who treats garlic as a primary food group. She also produces bilingual Latinx storytelling shows, hosts comedy shows, teaches a workshop for new storytellers. How is it going, Natasha? It's great to see you again.
It's going. It's so good to see you too. It's every day new surprises, I guess.
You said you're currently working on producing a show down there in Florida?
Yeah, I get to work with. I love comedy when you get to work with friends and people you enjoy. So I'm working on an all Latina tour, headliner tour. I'm bringing them down from Chicago and New England down to Florida in the middle of Central Florida. So we're going to be having a good time going through a few cities.
I can't imagine a better time to get out of Chicago and New England than right now. Like New York got hit with like 2 feet of snow last week. So
yeah, apparently like New England broke their blizzard benchmark or like
I should
record
check
or
on my
something.
New England friends. I haven't talked to
Yeah,
any
they
of
might
them.
not be okay.
I should definitely double check. Excuse me. Had the last 2 weeks I've had this cold, and it went away for like 2 days, and then yesterday I was like, oh no, I'm not done. I'm back. So I'm gonna get through this weekend. But at least we got a new episode out and a new guest. Say that again. I'm sorry, Natasha.
The most inconvenient timing with colds, for sure.
It is, especially because I was like in the middle of a conference when it kicked in. It was a 4-day conference, and I did the first 2 days, and I spent the last 2 days in bed because I was like, that's it. That's it. Did you bring with you a story or something that maybe we haven't heard of? Something unusual or interesting?
Like I got a fact
Yeah.
about talking about identifying with anyone who considers garlic a primary food group.
Okay.
I am part Italian on my dad's side, and my family on that side comes from Naples, Italy. And I don't know a lot of Italian, but my dad consistently studies it. So I realized from the last time we went there and just from listening to him practice, people from Naples, Napolitanos, speaks Italian, but also speak such a strong dialect of their own language that some people consider its own language, Napolitano. And the difference between the two, even to the Italian ear, is that while Italian has a lot of, specific Latin influences, a Neapolitan or Napolitano has a lot of strong Spanish and French influences as well. And so that was from like the colonial times in the 16th to 18th centuries when they were down there. So to me, I sort of think of like my Latin friends, like I can speak Spanish, but sometimes when I hang out with my Cuban friends, I'm like, I know some of what you're saying, but I feel like you're speaking another language. And I feel like that's what Italians probably think of Neapolitans.
I didn't know that. That's crazy. I'm curious why like just that one particular spot on the West Coast had that. I mean, I guess, maybe that was colonized differently than the rest of Italy.
Like
and
Sicily and southern Italy, like a lot going through there, like the Mediterranean and a thoroughfare. In my opinion, my dad thinks Italians invented the world. In my opinion, that's probably why they have so much good food there too in southern Italy, right? They got like the best of all of these like cuisine and spices that they got to play with.
Naples and Catania were some of the best food I've ever had in my life.
Really?
Oh my God. So good.
He's closing his eyes. He's transported there.
I am, instantly. Like I can name a few places where I want to go back just for the food. Naples as a city, I wasn't like super into it.
Yeah.
It was kind of dirty.
It can be a little sketch.
Well, the driving just terrified me. My friend who lived there was like driving me around. He's like, don't look at anyone. If you look at them, you're giving them right of way. And it was, everyone just zooms around like as they can. But Pompeii was amazing. Herculaneum was amazing. Sicily, all of Sicily, I just absolutely loved. It was like going back in time.
You're going to go back. Yeah.
I hope so. I was there performing on some of the naval bases that we have over there. And I've only been the once, so I would love to go back. And it's so fitting that you brought up Napolitano pizza or Napolitano food, because we're talking about pizza today, and that's where pizza's from. So pizza. I hope that doesn't spoil my first question. Let me look at what my first question is. Okay. Oh yeah, no, this is totally cool. You still might not know this. And we're going to play for a joke. So if you get it wrong, you'll tell me a joke. If you get it right, I'll tell you one. Here it is.
Okay.
Question number 1. In broad terms, what was the Noid created to represent in Domino's pizza advertising? Was the Noid A, representing a rival pizza company. B was the Noid representing obstacles that could ruin a delivery. Or C, a delivery driver mascot for Domino's.
Okay, first of all, I feel like I learn something every time I'm here. Is the Noid the Domino logo thing?
Oh, so
am I allowed to ask?
No, well, I won't tell. I mean,
okay.
No, the Noid is not the Domino logo. The Noid was an actual character.
Oh.
And this was like a little guy in like a red jumpsuit with like bunny ears. I don't think the Noid spoke English because it's mostly in the commercials and stuff. It was going hee hee hee, like, you know, silly stuff like that. And for a few years, I believe older than you are, but this was my childhood. So like the late 80s, like the mid to late 80s was when the Noid was a thing, and only for a few years. But a lot of Gen Xers will remember the Noid. And this episode was a lot about the Noid and why the Noid sort of disappeared. But
this is actually a perfect question for me because I lived abroad for so long. So like I don't get a lot of pop culture references. So
okay, perfect.
Actually, like so nerdy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So our options are a rival pizza company, obstacles that could ruin a delivery, or a Domino's delivery driver mascot.
I feel like it's the third one.
The driver mascot?
Yeah.
The answer is obstacles that could ruin a delivery.
Oh.
So the saying was, and this would have given it away, but the saying was avoid the Noid. And they created, so this was when Domino's Pizza decided that they were going to do this thing where you'll get your pizza in 30 minutes or less, or it's free. And I remember this, like you would order Domino's, you know, call, obviously, because that's all we had. You would call and you would look at the clock and you'd be like, okay, time it. And you would just sit in and it was always more, you know, less than 30 minutes.
They gamified it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And it worked. It hugely increased their sales. But the Noid was this character that was going to stop that from happening.
That's
so
cool.
What they did was created a rival or a competitor, you know, a bad guy, a MacGuffin, if you will. So
there really were more, I guess, if you think about like characters related to brands then, and it was then, like they lasted for a while.
They did. I mean, that's
there was Little Caesar's pizza guy.
Oh yeah, I didn't even bring him up in this episode. Yeah, Pizza. He was like a nobleman, like a cartoon nobleman. And then there was like the burger. That's when the Burger King guy started becoming super.
He sort of terrified me. Yeah,
absolutely. There was that's what, you know, think about all like of McDonald Land characters, you know, and it wasn't just Ronald McDonald and Hamburglar and Grimace. There were like, I don't know, there was a whole bunch of them that people knew. And people don't remember the Hamburglar these days. They just think of Grimace and Ronald. But there were a whole bunch of, there was like Fry Guy. There was a whole bunch of different.
Yeah, they had entire sketch videos adjacent to like the actual food. Yeah.
Yeah,
I would like to see a reunion of all those weirdos.
Wouldn't
That's great.
Be fun? Maybe someone should write, I mean, the legal on this would be crazy, but like someone should write like an animated show where those are all the characters.
Yeah. And who wins?
Yeah.
And who gets the sequel?
Yeah, maybe it's a new town and all of these businesses are fighting for the business, and these characters' job is to like secretly like sabotage each other. I don't know how this works, but
it sounds like you've got a script already.
Yeah, I'm gonna sketch this out and have a treatment by the end of the night.
So now we know who the Noid is.
The Noid is it's a little red dude, and you'll have to, when we're done, I'll show you a video of this.
Yeah,
it's a little red dude with bunny ears that just ran around and tried to, and he would crush your pizza box.
Oh,
you know what I mean? So they had those little like white plastic table thing that goes inside the pizza box, you know, to keep it from the toppings from touching the top of the box. He basically would do anything to keep your pizza the delivery more than 30.
And then there was the 7-Up guy.
What was the 7-Up guy?
You remember him? He had like little spiky hair. He was just like sketched out, and he would like, oh man.
No, I've got something new.
I just imagine like, why didn't that duo go together? Because you always have soda with pizza.
Yeah.
I did not know. I feel really dumb now. I did not know that's what the little table. We would call it a tiny table. My sister and I would use it to serve our Barbies pizza, but I never knew.
I think that's what it originally was, and now you never see them because they make pizza boxes better. Like the pizza boxes are stronger, so you don't need that anymore. But also, you can use that to, and I only know this from like modern media, like TikTok and stuff. You can use that to like tear apart the pizza. So you like push down on the piece next to the piece you're grabbing.
Fascinating.
Right? So
pizza ergonomics. Look at that.
Absolutely. Do you have a joke for us?
Okay. I hope you like this one. Okay, so this is a street joke. How does a mom tell her kid to stop messing around?
How?
How's that? I'm sorry, let me start again.
Oh,
How does an Italian mom,
oh,
important, how
okay.
does an
Staying
Italian
on
mom tell
brand. All
her
right.
kid to stop messing around?
How?
Don't be Sicily.
Don't.
Instead
Oh,
of
so
don't
silly.
be so silly. Yeah.
I gotcha.
So
Boo.
close. Boo!
Mine's
Boo!
just as bad. You want to hear mine? Mine is
Yeah,
probably
I do.
worse than
I do.
yours. How do you cut a tiny pizza
With I don't know.
with Little Caesars? See,
You're
I
right.
told you.
No,
I
I
told
think
you it
yours
was
is
just
actually
as
better
bad.
because you pronounced it right.
But both of ours were the same joke. Like they were both the
Yeah,
similar
it's like a
joke. It was
pun
like an
wordplay.
Italian
Yeah.
pronunciation of a word.
Yeah.
Playing for a copy of my new book for question 2. So
Okay.
if you get this right, I owe you a copy of my new book. I may owe you a copy from the last time you were
I
on the
think you
show.
still do.
Okay, well, you get 2. You can give
Okay.
one to a friend. Here is your question. What was the original name? We talked about Grimace, okay? What was the original name of that purple character Grimace when he first appeared? Now, this was before both of our times. This was 1971. One of
Okay.
these was Grimace's original name. Was it A, Purple Pete, B, Mayor McCheese Jr., or C, Evil Grimace?
You've like found my experiential kryptonite. I know none.
Experiential kryptonite. Fast food or just 80s, 70s, and 80s
80s
pop culture references?
commercials.
Yeah.
What was the third one?
Evil Grimace. So it was
I
either
feel like I've heard this before and I'm still going to get it wrong. That's fine. That just means commercialism didn't brainwash me.
yeah, this is a good thing.
Is it Purple Pete?
It is not. It is Evil Grimace.
That was
Yeah.
my, oh.
They just
See, it's the villain to this
so
guy.
I have this here. When Grimace debuted in 1971, he was originally called Evil Grimace and he had 4 arms. He's already frightening as a purple blob, but imagine with 4 arms, and he was portrayed as a milkshake stealing villain, and then he was softened into a lovable single personality character audiences know today.
Is he still lovable? And like, how many commercials or like exposures
he did
take?
have, I believe it was 2 years ago, he had a resurgence because they had like a Grimace shake at McDonald's. And then there was like one of those like teen viral trends with the Grimace shake.
Really?
And I don't remember what the deal was. It was something like once you drank it was a purple milkshake at McDonald's.
Yeah.
And once you drank it, like crazy things happened. And so it would be like a before and after video. Like you would show, you with purple shake and you drink it, and then there would be some crazy scene afterward.
Did you try one?
No, no. I can't. There are probably so many chemicals in a purple milkshake. Not that I'm against chemicals. I'm just saying, like, I did not have.
Not that that's where we're
Grimace
at.
shake.
Not that I'm against chemicals. Don't come after me.
No, listen, you know what I had for lunch today? Sheets. I ate sheets for lunch today. I had, you don't have Sheets in Florida.
What?
Sheets is a gas station, but they have really great, like, it's a good gas station. And those are my listeners in like the mid-Atlantic area. Like, I think it's out of Pennsylvania. So they have this debate going on. What's better, Sheets or Wawa, which is the other big one in Pennsylvania.
See, we have Wawa down here. It came down to
you?
East Coast and we have it. It's just like, we were just there today. We were on a road trip. They always have cleaner bathrooms. There's a good ATM, and like you can get gas station fresh food, which is sometimes all you can get. So.
And Sheets is very similar. Sheets is, and it's actually a cool company because it's still like family owned, and it's not like a big corporate behemoth. They and it's always good quality, but more importantly, a hot dog is $1.
Oh my gosh!
And that's good on the budget.
You're just taking everyone down memory lane today.
Yeah, there you go. Unfortunately, Natasha, you will not get a copy of my book. I already owe you one. Right?
Do I have to mail you back your book when you send it to me?
Yeah, no, you won't get the second one.
Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do to take away the first one. So what's other than this this comedy show that you've got coming up with the Latinas, what else is happening here? What are we doing down in Florida?
So producing a few comedy shows. I guess just doing too much comedy. Where did we go to today? Today I got to go on a road trip somewhere I haven't been in a while. Talk about like Central Florida and history and everything. There's a place called the Bach Tower. Did you ever
Okay.
go there when you were down here? It's cool. It's
No.
like this giant tower that looks out of it like it's out of Lord of the Rings. It's built in the 1800s.
Oh.
And there's a big percussive instrument that's called a carillon.
Yeah, I know about a carillon.
Yeah, you press these like pedals. Well, we don't, but there's a player. And anyways, we got to go there today, and it was just like lovely. It just felt like you were like right outside of Enya's castle or something. So we stepped away from the craziness of the world and among greenery and flowers and carillon music. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I would just be happy with some Florida weather right now, but that sounds amazing.
Yeah, where are you guys right now? Like 20 degrees or?
No, we're in the 50s right now, 50s and 60s for the next few days. But I don't think that our winter is quite over yet. I think we're getting another, few cold days coming soon. But yeah,
let's see.
Of course, like when I feel like crap and I'm spending like all day inside is when it gets super nice out. So
of course.
That's how it works. So the thing that we do for question 3 is always the same. We always play for an Internet Says It's True sticker. It's 3 inches, it's square, and it's sticky. And you can only get these by joining the Patreon, winning the third question, or peeling them off of the things that I have stuck them to. I
love that one of your selling points for your sticker is that it's sticky.
Yeah.
I would hope so, Michael.
yeah. I don't sell unsticky because that's just paper.
Do you remember the color forms from the 90s? As a kid, you had to lick them.
I love color forms.
Yeah.
You licked them? I never licked them.
You never remember. Okay, maybe that was what we were taught. They wouldn't stick. This explains so much.
Only when they get filled up with lint, then you got to lick them to clean them.
Okay, I don't know if your process is better than mine.
I guess it depends. Yeah, I guess it depends what you're sticking it to. Like, if you stick it to glass, it's always going to stick. But if I'm trying to stick it to like a wall, maybe I need to lick it. Maybe that was my problem. I had Smurf color forms and He-Man color forms. I remember.
That makes sense. Yeah, we had Care Bear. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, that tracks. There was another thing that we had, and I don't remember what these were called, but it was around the same era, and I always associate it with color forms. And it would be like a little frame, and you would put colored crystals in it, and then bake it. And it would turn into a thing that you could like hang on your window that the light would shine through. It was like translucent.
Yep. You made those?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Those were big. Those were big in the 80s.
We also had something. My aunt was an artist, and she would always try to find like kid-friendly artistic things to do. And what did she call them? Similar to that. It was the same time frame, but like she called them shrinkadinks. Do you remember those?
Shrinky dinks. I called them shrinky dinks. That's the other thing. That was exactly the same time. I don't remember what they are other than they shrank. You'd have to heat them.
You would like color plastic or something and then bake it. But they're all about baking, right?
Yeah.
And just shove it in there and it would shrink. But then like you would have this picture or whatever that you would hang up a keychain or something.
Yeah, because like when it shrank, the details would be like more intricate than what it looked when you made it.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to Google shrinky dinks. The other thing we had in the 80s that I hated in the 80s were Rubik's Cubes.
You hated it.
I hated it because it was a puzzle that was impossible to solve before the internet.
Is that how you learned to do it from the internet?
No, yes, but the way that I learned how to do it was, I don't know if I've told this story on the podcast or not, but I used to hate Rubik's Cubes.
Yeah.
And I was stuck in Grand Forks, North Dakota for like 9 hours until my flight was taking off. So I left the airport and I was like driving around Grand Forks trying to find something to do. All the coffee shops, it was a Sunday, all the coffee shops were closed. All the bookstores were closed. The only thing I could find was a Walmart. So I went into a Walmart and I bought a Rubik's Cube just because I was like, all right, I've got like 7 hours now.
Funny.
I'm going to teach myself how to solve it. And so I brought it back to the airport and I, pulled up the websites that teach you the algorithms and stuff. And I started memorizing the algorithms. And now I can solve it. Yeah. Now I can solve a Rubik's Cube.
Are there multiple ways to solve a Rubik's Cube, or it always ends up in the same? Okay.
There are multiple, because the number of combinations that you start with is more than there are grains of sand on the earth. Like it's.
Wait, did you just solve it while we were talking?
I did. Yeah. So those of you that are on the Patreon can watch me do that while I'm chatting.
That's tricky, dude.
Every time you mix up a Rubik's Cube.
That's like one of those pen flippers. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's this. So my thing with this is the added benefit of Rubik's Cube is that in 2021, I believe, 2020 or 2021, when I got COVID and I got that really bad brain fog for months, like 2 or 3 months afterward. And I swear it was the Rubik's Cube that got me out of it, because I would do it every morning.
Yeah, it pulled you out of the fog.
It would wake my brain up. And now we have Wordle. So same thing.
I love it. That's a good story.
Yeah. If you want this sticker, you've got to tell me this question. The answer to this question. What?
I'm 3 for 3 on the negative side. Okay, tell me.
No, you've only done 2 questions. We're good. What type of animal is the Chick-fil-A mascot? Is it A, a chicken, B, a cow, or C, a pig?
Was this a softball, so I didn't feel so bad because I do know this?
They can't all be tough ones, right?
It's a cow.
It is a cow. You are correct. It launched in 1995, which is way before I knew that they've done that. It's the longest running, or one of the longest running fast food mascot campaigns. Burger King is, well, actually, the McDonald's one, like Ronald McDonald's, probably the oldest, I would imagine. But yeah, it's one of the longest. 1995 is like 31 years ago. That's crazy.
Gosh, I feel old.
I
remember 1995.
I was a sophomore in high school, 1995. Yep. I was really upset because we had done a field trip to Washington, D.C., and Sarah Patrick broke up with me on the steps of the Jefferson Memorial and broke my heart. And,
Sarah Patrick sounds iconic, but like that sucks.
Yeah. No, she's great. She was great, but she broke my heart as a little,
Oh,
kid.
you'll always remember that. Have you ever been back to those steps, or you can't?
No, I'll never. I just haven't. Not for that reason. I just haven't.
The first time I had Chick-fil-A, I think it was like in 1996. We had just moved to the States, or back to the States, like from when I was a baby, and we had helped some lady in the church I was going to at the time, like with her garden or whatever. And in return, she took my sister and me. She's like, "You got to try Chick-fil-A." And like everything American, we were like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
And so she took us, and we had the waffle fries, and we're like, "This is the best invention ever." And so that's forever a core memory for me.
Yeah. I don't eat Chick-fil-A. Like
I
often.
don't anymore.
Yeah, I don't eat Chick-fil-A often, just because like I like to patronize companies that I believe in and stuff. And but I will say it's such a great chicken sandwich. They've just figured it out. But I also, if you don't want to eat Chick-fil-A, if you, for whatever reason it might be, McDonald's, I think last year or something like that, McDonald's has a new chicken sandwich, like a crispy chicken sandwich that is very, very similar. So those people that can't, kick your Chick-fil-A habit, but don't agree with the company and their beliefs, go to McDonald's and try that. So
see, but I can't eat McDonald's because of similar ethical beliefs.
Really? I don't know these. Maybe you shouldn't tell me.
No, I know. This is probably not the type of place.
No, it's fine. I want to hear.
I love going to like the whatever local shawarma place and get a chicken shawarma down the way too.
Yeah. I happen to live in like a Midwestern suburb that all we have is chain restaurants.
Yeah, that's tough. That is tough.
So I have to drive 15 minutes to get to a mom and pop place.
To get food.
Just a few exceptions. There's a great Palestinian place we always go to, and there's a really great Cuban place in town that we always go to. But other than those two, everything is just chain restaurants here. And
I love this episode. We're just talking about food.
Food and 80s nostalgia. I love it. Speaking of nostalgia, we're going to play on this next one. We're going to play for a TV or movie recommendation. Actually, this doesn't have anything to do with nostalgia, because I want a current TV or movie recommendation, something you've been digging.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. The Taco Bell Chihuahua. That's another one we haven't talked about. He's famous for saying "Yo quiero Taco Bell." What year was the Taco Bell Chihuahua introduced? Was it A, 1992? B, 1995, or C, 1997? This is a hard question. 92, 95, or 97? I would be surprised if anyone listening gets this one right. What was your guess?
Oh, then it's probably not 1997. That's my guess.
It's 1997. You're 2 and 2. You're back up to 500.
Yes.
1997. I would have guessed it was before that. 1997, I graduated high school. And then this is strange. I have to look into this. I have here that the campaign was discontinued in 2000 following legal disputes and shifting marketing strategies.
Wasn't legal disputes something about the actual Chihuahua that it was based on? I remember that it had to have been 97 because that was right after we moved to the States. And so it was a core American memory. This makes no sense to anyone else. But for me,
No, I
was
love
like,
hearing
I
about this.
wasn't in America in 95 and I remember it being a big deal. So it has to be. Yeah. But it had something to do with the Chihuahua, I thought.
Yeah. A federal court ultimately ordered Taco Bell to pay over $42 million in damages and interest. Oh, because they ruled that the company stole the idea for the campaign from creators Thomas Rinks and Joseph Shields.
Oh.
So originally, apparently these people had a psycho chihuahua concept, and a jury finally awarded $30.1 million. And then, and then there was an appeal. So,
this is deep.
Yeah, I had no idea about this. It's very interesting. Now, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but this last one is for all the marbles. Natasha, if you get it right, you're welcome back on the show anytime. If you get it wrong, not only will you not be allowed back, I'm going to unfriend you on Facebook, and I will never go to one of your comedy shows.
Well, all right. Well, let's go.
You ready for this challenge?
Let's see what the universe has in store.
Here, and this is a tough one. If your personality were turned into a cartoon character, what trait would they exaggerate?
Of my personality?
Yeah. What personality trait would a cartoon character version of you exaggerate?
My seething disdain. Do I need to provide context? I feel like that's pretty universal.
You came up with that a lot quicker than I was anticipating, and it just hit me just right.
I know immediately because it's the one that people always comment on.
Your seething disdain. You have been nothing but lovely on this podcast. I maybe those people need to talk to you. That's because this is fun
because we're talking about nostalgia and food. I told you.
That's what I was saying.
Talking about something I don't care about, Michael.
All right, so let's talk about taxes for a moment.
Okay, here we go. This is it.
Let's see.
Sketching this out.
Let's talk about American healthcare. What's going on?
I'm out.
Well, this has been a lot of fun. I really appreciate you coming on the show. And now, for that last one, we played for a sticker, and you got that right. So I owe you a sticker. The final one you got right too, which was a TV or movie recommendation. I have to say, on Netflix they have a Stephen King series. It stars James Franco. It's called 11/22/63, based on the Stephen King book. And it's like a 6-part series or something like that. It was fantastic. Yeah. And it was so good that it convinced me to go out and buy the book. Actually, my wife went and bought me the book because she knew that I was like talking about it so much. Because I was like, I have so many questions. And I'm reading the book now, and it's so good. Now, that's one thing. But I do have a guilty pleasure television thing right now.
Okay.
I have been just nonstop binging John Taffer's Bar Rescue. Have you ever watched?
I have friends that watch it. I've never watched it. Isn't that like multiple seasons or something?
Oh, probably. I'm on like season 2 or something. He is an abrasive big dude that just shouts at people, "What are you doing? Get out of the kitchen!" It's kind of like a meaner version of Gordon Ramsay, but he knows his stuff. And I actually watch it, and I learn a lot about marketing and business just watching this show. Like, it's pretty crazy. He's like, if you go to a restaurant and everything goes perfect, no complaints, perfect experience, the likelihood of you going back to that restaurant is only, I can't remember, something crazy like 20 or 30%. It's
really?
And if you go back a second time, that jumps up to 50 some percent.
Yeah.
But if you go a third time, now the likelihood of you continuing to go to that restaurant is in the 70 some percent.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was just like, that's amazing. Like, if you're a restaurant or a bar owner, you can do everything perfect. But unless you market and continue to do things to get them to come back through your doors, it doesn't matter. So, stuff like that. I'm like, that's fascinating to my marketing brain,
No, you're right. It's almost like when you book shows, the first show doesn't matter and the second one doesn't always either. It's like you have to be something or someone that they want to bring back, that they remember to ask you.
There's a lot of truth in that with the Steve Martin book, Born Standing Up. He talks a lot about that. You have to be like, you can't just be good. You have to be like undeniable. And
Yeah, that's
not
a good
only
word.
that, he talks about how the first time he went on the Tonight Show, he thought he was going to be like famous, and no one knew. No, his family members didn't even know. And he was like, by the third time, my family members were calling me saying they saw me on TV, and it wasn't until like the seventh time that people recognized him.
Yeah.
And that was the top, show of the in the evening, like prime
Yeah.
time. That was the top show. So
It's so
Yeah.
humbling. Yeah. That's fascinating. I'll have to check it out.
But it goes for everything, like, marketing. Sending one marketing email does nothing, but when it's a campaign, it starts to actually take hold. So
That's right.
I like that type of
Because you're
thing.
competing for everything else that people can give their attention to. Yeah.
You are, yeah. And you have to be like, they get that email and they're like, oh, I feel like I've seen this before. It's because you put that in front of them.
It's
But
funny. I work in marketing and I disdain marketing emails, but it's like one of the many 10 things you have to do because you don't know how people learn or engage. And
Yeah.
I hate it. But
yeah, they have to receive the message from like at least 3 different mediums for it to really.
Yes.
It's crazy. But I will say with Bar Rescue, the what makes it a guilty pleasure also is like, I just love when he goes into these bars. The last one I watched, it was infested with cockroaches, and he picked
Why
up
did you deliver that like you were so endeared by it?
It's
It was
because this is
cockroach.
the part of it that I love. It's like those first few episodes of America's Got Talent when they have like the people that are just awful and not self-aware.
Yeah.
So like, and that's what it is with these. It's like watching a train wreck. They picked up a bottle of liquor and there was a cockroach floating in the bottle, inside the bottle of liquor, and they were serving that to people. That kind of thing I watched, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna get so mad about it. I can't wait for him to get mad about it. So anywho,
You're excited for I
am. I'm gonna go up and watch it when I finish here.
Oh my gosh.
So
I've learned so much from you and that you enjoy seeing other people to experience terrible things like cockroach
this
liquor.
tells me that my work is done here. Natasha Samreny, you have been a pleasure to have back on the show. Tell people where they can learn about your storytelling and your comedy and all the wonderful things that you do down there in Florida.
Absolutely. The name they will never find because it's too complicated, but natashasamreny.com or Natasha Samreny Comedy on Instagram. Just Google me. I'm the only one. And please, come hang out.
Awesome. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for coming back.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Michael.
Well, that is all for this week. Thank you so much to Natasha Samreny for being my guest, and thanks to you for listening. Here's a kid who will never know the thrill of timing the pizza delivery guy.
Thank you for listening to The Internet Says It's True. To listen to episodes ad-free and a week early, support us on Patreon. You can do that at patreon.com/Michael Kent. If you learned something just now that you didn't already know, go to the Apple Podcast app and leave us a review with 5 stars and a few words. That helps us a ton, because that's how the algorithm works. I don't know what an algorithm is, but just do it. See you next week for a brand new episode of The Internet Says It's True!
The Internet Says It's True would like to thank the gold level Patreon subscribers whose monthly contributions help make this show possible. Eugene Anderson, Jim and Joanne Martin, Richard Duvall, and the show's official Emperor Kick Track. The show is written and produced by me, Michael Kent. The theme song is by Finite Music Forge. All audio clips in this episode are used for education and commentary and used under Fair Use Title 17 USC Section 107. You can listen to past episodes by searching for The Internet Says It's True wherever you get your podcasts, and you can see bonus content at patreon.com/Michael Kent.